Happy Carnival! And welcome to another episode of Tales from the Parade Route. Tonight we are joined by a very special guest. Outside of Mardi Gras, some of my friends and I, one of our enjoyments is playing card games. And tonight we have Hitch with Gentilly Games, who's here to tell us about a little way that you can still enjoy Mardi Gras year-round with a deck of cards. So, welcome.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. A little about the Gentilly Games. I grew up in Gentilly and eventually moved out to New Orleans East before I left town to do my career, and just loved the Gentilly neighborhood and just so many fond memories above it. So that's why I decided to name my company Gentilly Games. And the reason I created it was there seemed to be a lack of New Orleans representation in the board and card game industry. There's so much rich history here, so many things that you could use in a game theme that I wanted to try to find something. And what could be more New Orleans than Mardi Gras? And the biggest thing in Mardi Gras are the parades. And I thought, okay, how do I make a game out of a parade? Thought a couple of things, and then I realized that how many people have any idea what it takes to put together a parade, to try to get all the different units of the parade together. You've got bands, marching groups, dance teams, floats, and how are you going to put all these together into a parade? And I thought, that's something I can make a game out of. So that's how I came up with the idea for Geaux Parade, which is what I'm calling this game. In the game, there's going to be unit cards, which are the units that make up the parade. There's going to be 40 floats, 10 dance teams, 10 bands, and 10 marching groups. And then there's also going to be 40 action cards, and on every turn you're going to draw an action card. And that action card will either give you an extra unit card to build on your parade. It may take a unit card out of your hand to give you a little more challenge. You may have to pass a card to the player on your left or the player on your right. And the dreaded card you don't want to get, and there's one in the game, it's the rain out card.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants a parade to get rained out. So if your parade gets rained out, any cards you've played in your parade, you got to discard them, and then you draw replacements from the deck. Yeah. So you kind of got to start over.
It's brutal.
It's brutal, but in the play testing I've done, people have recovered from it and ended up winning the hand. So it can be done.
So is the goal to basically build a complete parade with all of its units in order?
Yeah, it's a complete parade with a total of 10 units. Mm-hmm. And then some of the cards have restrictions on the order they can be played in. Like a float may say, must follow a band. Mm-hmm. So in order to play that float card, you have to play a band card and then a float card next to it. Some of the, other will say, you must follow a marching group, must precede a band. Some of the floats will say, must lead parade. So that has to start the parade. And then some of them say, must end parade. So that's got to end the parade. So there's all these restrictions. You've got to kind of build a puzzle. And as you play the game, you're laying the cards down in front of you on the table to build your 10-unit parade.
Well, it seems actually like the real logistics of the parade.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to capture, was that whole logistics of, and I've seen the start of a parade route. I rode in the crew of Mardi Gras in 1985, and you got the floats lined up one down one street, you got the bands lined up another way, you got all these other groups, and there's a parade marshal that's putting everybody in order, and that's what basically in the game, you're the parade marshal. You're putting everybody in order in the parade to build the parade to win the game.
Yeah. So, I really like the concept because a couple of the games that I play that are card-based are, I have one that I play that's a burger game where they give you a recipe card.
Right.
And you have to get, the bun, the meat, the cheese, and it, and each recipe is obviously different to where mine may require bacon, yours may require avocado on
right.
it, Kirk's may require an egg.
Oh, mine requires bacon.
Yeah.
They all should require bacon.
Right, yeah. But
I'm a little taken aback by the fact that there's a burger card game.
Oh yeah.
All right.
There's also a sushi one that I played.
Yeah.
That's kind of similar.
Yeah, and it has action cards like you're saying, to where you can steal steal an item from your friend, or have to pass it over to the left, or
Yeah, and then I've really tried to theme the action cards. Like one of the action cards is tractor breakdown. Discard a float card from your hand.
all right.
And then there's another one that's going to be sidewalk side, and that's where you steal a card from the player on your right. And then there's neutral ground side, you steal a card from the player on your left. And then there's going to be a couple of cards that are going to be dancing in the street, and that one, it'll be slide to the left, everybody has to pass a card to the left, or slide to the right, everybody has to pass a card to the right.
Okay.
Just to add some fun and just keep that whole Mardi Gras theme. And one of the things, the key of the game is it's going to be for ages 8 and up. And the only reason there's an age restriction of 8 and up is due to the complexity of playing and trying to match up the floats and the bands and all the restrictions on the card. But for younger players, you could just say, okay, you have your 6 or 7 year old playing, he's not grokking the whole thing. Say, okay, you can play, but you can't put 2 of the same together. You got to go float band, you can't match. Just to simplify it, because all the graphics in the game are going to be family friendly. There's not going to be anything inappropriate in the game at all. So that's one of the things I wanted to keep it as family friendly as possible. Because some people have this notion of Mardi Gras as this big party and everything, and just that whole family aspect of it. Because I remember as a kid growing up, I grew up on Mexico Street, half a block off Franklin Avenue, and as a kid, just walk up to the corner for Pandora and Hercules. They were right there, little neighborhood parades. It was just such a fun family time, and that's what I kind of want to recreate in this game, is that family togetherness and fun, and just the colors and the bright lights of Mardi Gras.
I think even here, for the people that only go to St. Charles, don't see the family aspect as you do if you're riding.
Right.
It's completely different down, the lineup areas and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, definitely, it is.
So the cards, like the drawings on it, are they actual photos from different parades?
I used photos in the last beta version I did, just to have an idea.
Right.
And now I'm working with an artist that's hand drawing all the artwork for the cards.
Okay.
And he's been doing a great job. Unfortunately, I tried to find a local artist for Mardi Gras stuff, because I figured I could find somebody. But everybody I talked to is just so busy with Mardi Gras. Everybody is just, it's such a year-round thing now, and I was just not able to find anybody locally. So I ended up having to actually find a guy that lives in Poland. His name's Dawid. He's been fabulous. The artwork he's done is great. I just can't wait to start putting it out there and sharing with people. And the plan is hopefully sometime in October launching this on Kickstarter.
Okay.
And the game will be available on there. The plan is to have the game sell for $20 a copy. So total 110 cards in a box to hold, a nice form-fitting box to hold the cards, keep them safe. And then for the first 100 that purchase it on Kickstarter, I'm going to include a Mardi Gras doubloon for the game. And it's going to have the company logo on one side and the game logo on the other side. And that'll be an free add-in for the first 100. And then anybody after that, it'll be available for purchase with the game as an add-on.
Okay. Are you looking to sell it just in Kickstarter, or are you?
No, eventually I'd like to get into stores and shops. There's a card shop in the French Quarter. The one's playing card company is the guy runs it. I've already talked to him about being in his store, and he's thrilled. Can't wait until I can get into production. He's agreed to carry it. And once I get a little closer down the line, I'm going to start working with some of the other local stores about carrying it. And then after the Kickstarter, it will be available for purchase on the website.
Okay. When are you looking at the availability date for it?
And if I launch on Kickstarter before the end of October, it'll probably be available right around Mardi Gras. It's going to be tight getting it printed and shipped and everything. Just with how the logistics of the world these days, everything takes much longer than you expect. So I'm hoping
to get one of those right before Mardi Gras.
Yeah, that's
so that I can. Well, mainly I want to play the game, but mainly to mess with the doubloon collectors.
Yeah.
Just have one sitting there, because they'll be like, "Hey, what's that one?"
Yeah, that's definitely when I thought about what can I include with the game as a bonus for those that are the early adopters on Kickstarter, and I thought, well, you got to have a doubloon. You got to have a doubloon.
Showed me the proof of the ones you're making. That was real nice.
Yeah, so hopefully everything will come out and I can get everything done before Mardi Gras. That's the goal, is to get it before Mardi Gras.
That's everybody's goal.
Yes.
Get your stuff together.
Yeah.
Like I'm ordering stuff for throws and everything already.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, I had a back seat full of stuffed animals. But
yeah,
I'm not surprised you couldn't find a local artist.
Right. Yeah. It's just I would hope that I could find someone. Everybody's just so busy.
I mean, there's a limited number of them. There's only a handful of those guys that really do the parade designs like these,
Exactly.
and all.
Yeah.
Those guys
one of the inspirations I kind of had for the look of the game was kind of the whole kind of Art Deco, like Pontchartrain Beach style, and the style of the artist that has been doing the covers for the Mardi Gras guide that Arthur Hardy puts out. I love the look of his art, and that was kind of my thing. I wanted to have that. Of course, I reached out to him, and he was just unavailable. Just.
Well, he's also mostly retired. You're talking about Froelich? Is that?
No, it's Dave Johnson. I think his name is. Yeah. So, but yeah, he was like, he looks great, but I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's unfortunately one of the things you run across is that there's a lot of people a lot of Mardi Gras is done by volunteers, and people are trying to do, work a day job and run a parade and do all the other stuff, and it's just way too much, to do other things. And everybody's got a lot on their plate.
I mean,
are all of the marching groups and whatnot, like when you draw a card, is it the 610 Stompers card?
So the 610 Stompers aren't going to be in the game to start. We reached out. I've got a signed contract with the Disco Amigos to use their name and likeness and everything.
Okay.
I've got to get the final art to them for their approval. I'm working with the Amelia Earhart's that basically told me, yes, it's great, just send us a contract and the art and we're good. And then the other one is the Rolling Elvi. They're on board. I've just got to get everything finalized and contracted. That's the three I've been able to get. I tried reaching out to a bunch of the crews, but just being I'm kind of a startup, small, nobody's really sure, and everybody being so busy, I haven't been able to get any of those. So for the floats and everything, I'm going to use all of the funk crews, the ones that no longer exist, the historical ones.
Okay.
Like, as mentioned earlier, the crew of Pandora, crew of Hercules, the neighborhood crews like that. I'm going back, Daughters of Eve, Heloise or Helios, depending if you pronounce it New Orleans style or the regular way. Yeah, so that's where I'm looking at doing for the floats and the crews, and then for the marching bands and the dance teams, it's going to be more generic kind of names.
Okay.
A Purple Tiger band, a Blue Jay band,
Right.
Just try to keep it as, I don't want to infringe on anybody's, property rights, intellectual property.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of keep it,
You still want to give a salute to them, per
right,
se. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It also has a little sense of realism too. People will immediately recognize that.
Right. And then the hope is that, in the future, I may have one or two crews that want to do an expansion pack, like 5 cards and a full package, kind of like Pokemon cards or sports cards, that have their crew floats on it, and then we'll have like maybe 4 unit cards and 1 action card, and they can use that as a throw.
Yeah.
And then that'll support my game, get more sold, and it'll be them. It's a good reusable throw. It's not something people are just going to throw away. It's something they can actually use.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get to more sustainable throws. Something that's not plastic beads lying in a gutter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I love that idea.
So yeah, that's my hope for that. To keep this going, and maybe every couple of years, a crew can come out with another one. If they could add a new signature float or something.
Yeah.
They can celebrate that with more cards.
Yeah, there's a few parades that, like Chaos still does a card deck every year, was basically all their floats and all that stuff on there.
Back
There's
in the 90s, I think it was early 90s, they had like Mardi Gras trading cards
Yeah.
they tried to do for a couple of years. But I think the problem with those was they were just trading cards. There was nothing beyond having.
Right.
It was kind of like a doubloon but paper.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah,
of
I
thing.
think that was something that the Currents were pushing, and they were doing a lot of the art and all that for them.
Yeah. So that's my hope with this is, since it's a game, it's something you can actually use versus just something to put on a shelf and look at.
Yeah. I love the idea. I mean, there's plenty of weekends where a group of my friends and I will get together and we'll play you know, everything from Uno to Monopoly Deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can easily see this getting mixed into our
Thanks.
repertoire.
Yeah. You know, and it's a pretty easy game to learn, and it's probably maybe 15 to 20 minutes per game.
And that's the thing that we love about a lot of those.
Right. I wanted to keep it something simple, like I said, so it's the whole family can play.
Yeah.
You know, it's not one of these really complicated games where you got 7 different sets of dice and 3 game boards and all these different pieces. I wanted something nice and simple as a start.
Yeah. And while you said, you know, your age group is, you know, 8 and up, you know, the concept is easy enough to where, you know, a younger child could comprehend the game.
Yeah, and the play testing I've done, I mean, I've had as young as 6-year-olds that were able to understand and play, you know.
Yeah.
So that's been fabulous.
So, yeah, I can't wait to see it. Where can people follow the game?
So I've got a website, GentillyGames.com. You can sign up on there. We have an email list, or you can just go to the website, keep getting updates. We've got the information on Geaux Parade, and then we've got a little teaser for my next game. The next game's going to be called Pothole.
Okay.
And the idea will be to get across the city without getting stuck in a pothole.
Well, it's an unwinnable game.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is one of the things you'll have in the game is patches.
Okay.
You'll be able to patch some of the potholes.
Yeah.
So something you can't do in the real world.
Right.
Or at least it takes, you know, 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, where is it? Lakeview, that we're filling them up with plastic Mardi Gras beads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would probably work pretty well, actually.
Yeah, it does for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, then, you know, the street looks like glitter whenever it rains.
No, but yeah. So you know, I'm just hoping this really takes off, and I just think it's something that could be really fun, and you know, like I said, it could continue to evolve with the expansions and the booster packs, or
that's
however
a
you
really
want to call
neat
it.
concept to me,
Yeah.
you know, because well, like you mentioned earlier, we're both doubloon collectors. I actually collect all the cards from back in the day as well, so to me that would be fun beyond just the game, and I'm going to have to get 2 sets of each though.
Right.
One to collect and one to play with.
Exactly. You got to have your collector's one. One that goes on the shelf and stays pretty.
Yeah. So, do you have any of the?
Yeah. Well, what's funny is this was the first version I did as the play test. I actually just printed out the cards on the print your own business cards and broke them up. This was just to get the whole concept, and you know, there was no artwork, it was all just text, but just the whole concept. And I took it to a bunch of people to play test, and I got really good feedback on it, figured out what worked and didn't work. One thing I found out that didn't work was points. I had originally, each of the cards had points, and you had to build a 100-point parade, and the whole math thing was just kind of a distraction.
Yeah.
So in the later versions, which this is a later version, in this one, I actually found a company that's called Print and Play Games, where you can print your own games.
Okay.
And you know, I used a lot more colors and stuff, but just mainly icons, just to kind of get a more feel. I was trying to figure out how the card should look, and you know, what would be the best way to lay all the information out on the card, because you want to, you know, put as much information as possible, but you don't want to have too much where it's a mess.
Yeah, you don't want it to be a 5-minute read off of the card.
Right. So then I came to the latest beta version, and that was these. And these are the action cards, and the action cards have the Mardi Gras mask and the word action, so you know what they are. And then there's artwork on the cards. Like there's rain forecast. Now the rain forecast says discard any unit card from your hand, so you have to discard a card because you got rain forecast. And you know, another one is local news spotlight, draw an extra card. Let's see, this one, you know, it's kind of funny, I couldn't resist doing it, was sweatband failure. Discard a marching group card from your hand.
Yeah.
So, and then for the unit cards, went with a similar mask theme for the backs, These are vertical, since the unit cards are more vertical layout, the action cards are horizontal layout.
Yeah.
And it's a different color. These are purple, the others are green, just so there's differentiation between the cards. And then I went with photographs. And most of these are my own photographs. I did find a few on the internet that I used, but just as a test version.
Yeah.
And then everything is now color coded. So all the floats have purple as their primary color. Dance teams have black as their primary color. And any restrictions are color coded also. So this one says follow float. So it's purple, that little follow float area. So it's easy to figure out what goes with what and everything. And then also, some of the floats are labeled as tandem floats. So you have to play them in 2 or more in a tandem.
Okay.
So like in one of the things, I'm going to have a 3, in the final version, I'm going to have a 3 alligator tandem. You know, they'll have the head, the body, and the tail. But the thing is, you don't have to play 3 alligators. You could play, it's also going to be a sea monster, and there's also going to be a whale, so, and also a dragon. So you can play the head of an alligator, the tail of a dragon, the body of the sea monster, kind of mix it up, and it'd be fun, you know. So, but yeah, like bands, the bands are green, so they're colored green. Like this band has to follow a float, or I'm sorry, a marching group, so it's yellow because marching groups are yellow. So everything's kind of color coded, and I'm stuck with the colors of Mardi Gras, purple, green, and gold. And then since I had to have 4 of them, because I have 4 different unit cards, there's a black is the final color. So, and I've gotten really good response with these, with the colors and everything. Everybody loves the colors. So I'm hoping that once my artist is done with all the work he's doing, and let me show you. I've actually brought a sample of his artwork to show y'all. So I said one of the groups I'm working with is the Rolling Elvi. So this was his sketch that he came up with for the Rolling Elvi card.
All right, yeah.
And then the Amelia Earhart's, they've tended to be great. I'm just waiting to finalize and everything. And this is the card he came up for them.
I love it.
Yeah, love it.
It's
love it.
whimsical and fun, and just I love the colors. They really pop. He's already finished the action card backs. The action cards will be like that. That's what the back of them are going to look like.
Okay.
And then for the unit cards, they're going to look like that. Kind of use the band, leader thing for the unit card. And there's all kinds of little icons in the background for floats and, bands, dance teams. Got to have the classic, marching group dance team boot with the tassel.
Right.
So, but yeah, I just love all the bright colors and everything. It's just been fabulous doing this thing. And then if you'll notice, all the icons and everything, not the icons, but like the wording on this thing, we use that Bourbon Street style street sign look to it, just to have a theme throughout the game.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Just really looking forward to getting everything done and getting it all up on Kickstarter. And like I said, hopefully by early to mid-December, we'll have enough, because I don't expect to have everything done by the time I launch on Kickstarter, but I want enough done to show what the final product's going to be. Because the Kickstarter is going to run about 20 days, somewhere between 20 and 30 days. It's a lot of people time to get in and everything. And then once the Kickstarter is finished, as soon as we get enough sales, we should be finished with all the artwork and ready to go to the printer.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait to see the Kickstarter.
Everybody I tell about this, everybody's just thrilled. And then especially when I start showing them what it looks like, what the plan is, what it's going to look like. So I'm really thrilled this is coming together like it is. It's just such a blessing.
Yeah, it's a neat idea, and you're right, there was kind of a hole in that space where, I've seen a couple little Mardi Gras games, but they're typically like your average game with a Mardi Gras logo on it.
Right,
not
like... Yeah, there's one I found
themed.
that was like, it's basically Go Fish, but with Mardi Gras theme. And it's just, it's Mardi Gras, but it's just not trying to capture that whole magic of it,
Yeah.
I just remember as a kid, going to these parades, everything's just so huge and bright, especially the night parades with all the flashing lights and everything. I just want to kind of recapture a little bit of that magic.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
So, I wish you complete luck, and I'm on bated breath waiting to see when it comes out on Kickstarter. I'll be one of your first people buying one.
All right, yeah, sign up on gentillygames.com. Sign up for our email newsletter. Right now, I'm sending out about one a week with just updates as I'm getting the art from my artist. Just to share everything, to keep the excitement going and build up and everything. And of course we're on we're on Facebook and we're on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it today.
Yeah.
And just trying to share and get the information out there for everybody.
Okay. So, yeah, folks, you know, keep an eye out on it. GentillyGames.com. You know, it sounds like it's going to be a great game and a great way to enjoy Mardi Gras year round, to where, you know, you don't have to wait until carnival season to see a parade per se. You
Exactly.
know?
And I'm thinking also it's probably perfect for playing on the top of the ice chest, waiting on the parade route
Yeah.
for the parade.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So thank you so much for coming out
certainly.
today.
Thank y'all for having me. This has been great.
Yeah. So signing out. We will see you on the route.